and welcome to this special edition of the Jester's Court. I am your host, Mike, and with me, as always, is my co host, Jay.
Yeah, that's me.
So, we have a special episode tonight. You know that? Of
I
course, you
do.
know.
I do know.
Of course, you know that because, our shows are just us reversed.
Yeah.
So, we are doing a two-part episode with the Innsmouth Rag.
hmm
The first half of this episode hit on that show last Monday, and now we're going to do the conclusion.
Yep, we are.
But before we do that, and also I didn't even mention, we're talking about Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, guys.
Yeah, we are.
1978 classic. But before we get into the rest of the episode, let's do some patron shout outs, shall we?
Yeah, let's go.
So we have some awesome patrons. We love them, and we like to shout them out every week. We have Mr. Kyle Keir, Mr. Derek Diamond, Robert Hood, or Rob Man,
Rob Man.
and Carlos Lingoria. I am the Rampage himself, everyone's favorite podcast fan.
Rampage, Rampage.
So, are we ready to continue on with Attack of the Killer Tomatoes?
Oh, yep, I sure am.
This was pre-recorded, so guys, I'm going to tell you right now, it's just a fun conversation. It's hilarious.
It's hilarious. This movie was amazingly funny.
Definitely go check it out, guys.
All right, let's go.
But then Sam Smith too, because he infiltrated Tomatoes in this crazy costume, and is working. It's working until they're eating, and he goes, "Can you pass the ketchup?"
Yeah.
And then so they know he's not a tomato, and
Yeah.
he gets killed.
He gets killed. I don't know what happened to the diving guy. I don't think anything happened to him except he was diving in a fountain.
He's swimming in circles in a fountain.
He's swimming in circles in a fountain. So listen, this movie's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's so bad. It's so bad. So let's do the thing and talk about the plot, the transitions, all of that. So let's start with the plot. Mike, don't know what to say.
It was genius. If these guys did not win an Oscar for best writing,
God, listen, this movie had us cracking up from the time it started.
it very much did what it was supposed to do because it's a parody, and it was fun. This is a little JC, but since it's a joint episode, we can say it. There are complaints that it was not specific enough to really be a parody, and I get that because it didn't really target anyone as well as it should have. But it was still hilarious.
It was hilarious.
It wins the comedy. It wins the comedy round.
It does. It does have like 2 racist jokes in there, though. So I do want to make that known. So
Yeah.
anything from the 70s, none of that really ages well. The good news is that they were deliberate jokes, and
they felt more like pointing out the ridiculousness of those
right,
jokes
than actually making fun of it. And
it's only 2, and it's in the same scene.
It is. So it's not like
all over.
Right. But yeah, this movie has no clear plot, obviously.
It's a pretty loose outline they're
loose
working
outline.
with.
Yeah, but it's so funny. It really is so funny. And the transitions really suck. Like everything switches so fast. It's so hard to really keep on point what's happening.
It's just rough cuts.
It is very rough cuts. But this was a very low budget movie. I remember my parents, because I remember this thing being on Showtime back in the day, or maybe it was HBO or Cinemax. One of them was playing this back in the day, and I remember my parents talking about how pissed off that they were that they went to the drive-in thinking it was an actual scary movie. And it turned out to be this.
They heard the title Killer Tomatoes and thought that it was legit.
Well, they make horror movies about everything. They really do. I mean, Michael, Sharknado.
Not a horror movie. And also not exactly what I would hold up as a bastion of great film.
Snakes on a plane.
Again, not a horror movie. And snakes are scary. And snakes are scary.
How are sharks not scary?
They're scarier than tomatoes. This is kind of proving my point.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I remember my parents saying, I'm pretty sure it was my mom, saying how much she was pissed off.
Yeah, that tracks.
Yeah, they went to the drive-in and it was a parody. So in case you didn't know, this is one of 4 movies They have Return of the Killer Tomatoes. That was in 1988. Killer Tomatoes Strike Back, which was in 1990. And Killer Tomatoes Eat France, which was in 1991. Do you want to know who in Return of the Killer Tomatoes, it has actually a big name? Do you want to know who starred in that movie?
Sure. I've got something another big name, but it's not a star. So go ahead.
George Clooney.
What? Where was he in this?
He was in Return of the Killer Tomatoes.
Oh, not this one.
Attack of the Killer
Okay.
Tomatoes. Right. Anyway, so before we get into all that fun stuff, I just had to throw that out there. We have to talk about gore. There is no freaking gore in this movie.
There is tomato blood all over the place.
There's tomato juice everywhere. Yeah. There's tomato juice everywhere. Yeah, so on a scale of 1 to 10, Mike, what do you give this movie?
Are we qualifying for sheer entertainment, or are we going just at the quality of the movie?
Just give it a rating.
5.
Okay, I'll give it a 5. It is a solid 5, which is better than last week's movie.
Yes.
Right? Oh, wow, it was a terrible movie. Yeah, anyway. We're going to do some, because this was a fairly short episode, so we're going to do some fun stuff, and especially since we're kind of crossing over, we're going to do some fun stuff now. So take it away, Mike.
I've got a couple things from the Jester's Court end of the spectrum. I was looking up some complaints, but honestly, here's the thing. The people who complain about this movie don't understand it's a parody or don't care that it's supposed to be a parody and want to talk about it like it's a real movie. It's a parody.
Mm-hmm.
Do I need to say more? It's a parody.
No, it's a fucking parody.
We ran into this same problem. Remember when we did a Mars Attacks?
Mm-hmm.
And people were trying to critique it like it was supposed to be Oscar material.
Right.
And it's like, it's a joke. It's supposed to be a joke. And this movie feels very much like, the Naked Gun series, or
mm-hmm.
it's that level of comedy. That's what kind of level of comedy you're looking at. Pretty juvenile, but hilarious.
Yep.
I would say, would you agree there?
I would.
Obviously, we just rated it so you guys know we like the movie.
Right.
It definitely qualifies as cult classic. And then, again, JC stuff, Jester's Court. I have some fun facts.
Oh, yeah, let's go.
You ready for some fun facts?
Yeah, I got some too.
So, you want to go... Okay, so you want to do back and forth? I do one, you do one?
Sure, but mine are... I'm not doing... Okay, so he's got fun facts about Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, and I have fun facts about actual tomatoes and how they can kill you.
Nice. Fun fact number 1 from the movie. The helicopter crash in the early scenes was unintentional.
Really?
Apparently, the rotor blades accidentally hit the ground, causing the helicopter to spin out of control. Debris and the top rotor blades narrowly missed the police officers in the scene and the crew off camera. The pilot received minor injuries. After being pulled from the wreck, Jack Riley and George Wilson quickly ad-libbed the rest of the scene as the wreck was still on fire. The crash cost them $60,000 of the budget. And remember, out of the $100,000 budget, $60,000 of it was that helicopter and its destruction.
Oh my God. That's great. So, fun fact number 1 about how tomatoes can really kill you. So, did you know that tomatoes can actually be fatal? Rather, eating tomatoes that have not been prepared well can, obviously. Red raw tomatoes can harbor deadly microbes, but also they can kill you by pesticides that may trigger a lot of health problems. The first thing about tomatoes that you may know is that sometimes they have salmonella on them, and salmonella can be fatal in particularly young children, frail or elderly people, or those with weakened immune systems. Yeah. So the healthy people actually experience fever, diarrhea, which may be bloody, nausea, vomiting, abdominal pain. In rare circumstances, the organism can enter the bloodstream and cause more severe illnesses or death. Nice.
Attack
of the killer tomatoes.
All right. Ahead. Fun fact number 2.
Yeah.
We all know and love the song Puberty Love.
Yeah.
It was performed by Matt Cameron. Do you recognize that name?
Yes, because he was from Soundgarden and Pearl Jam.
Yep, he is the drummer of Soundgarden and Pearl Jam, and he is the one who performed Puberty Love.
Puberty love. It's so great. It's puberty love. That song. Do you like it? Did you like
I do. All
it?
right, what you got for us? Real tomato
Fun
facts.
fact number 2. Tomatoes have an excess of vitamin C. Usually, your body gets rid of extra amounts of vitamin C through urination, but if you consume excess amounts, it may trigger gastrointestinal issues, which can lead to nausea and vomiting. And nausea and vomiting in excess can lead to bleeding gut tract, and that can lead to death if you have a blood clotting disorder. A little macabre there, but there we go. That is the second way.
You're giving us facts on how tomatoes can kill you in real life, so macabre is kind of,
Yeah, go ahead.
It's what we're going for. The giant earmuffs for the giant tomato at the end of the movie were actually 2 big, bright green toilet seat covers. Yep.
Really?
Yep.
Wow, that was a big tomato. I mean, it's not a real tomato. It's just like styrofoam, I guess. But that was a
they were all made out of foam. They were all made out of
tomato.
foam.
Yeah. Okay. So, fatal facts about tomatoes 3. Heartburn. Tomatoes are high in acidity. Duh. If you suffer from heartburn, it's probably best you stay away from tomatoes, as eating them will encourage the production of acid in your stomach. Acid in your stomach can lead to people having ulcers. Ulcers can bleed. Bleeding ulcers can be fatal.
Yes, this is true.
Yes, that's true.
So,
on to you.
This is a 2-parter.
Okay.
The climax of the San Diego Stadium was shot in a single day, and all the extras at the climax wore their own outfits. So all the crazy people, all wearing their own stuff.
Nice.
And since that one's kind of small, no, I wanted to squeeze 2 of these together.
Well, wait, because I got 2 more fatal ones. So let me get in.
Well,
there,
I've got plenty more, so we'll have more of mine anyway. So keep going.
Okay, so fatal facts about tomatoes number 4. It's called lycophonemia. Lycophonemia. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but the red color of tomatoes is from lycopene. And an excess of lycopene can trigger lycophonemia, where it turns your skin orange.
It was an episode of House that made fun of that.
Yeah. Go ahead.
This was the film debut of Dana Ashbrook.
Really?
Who, among other things, was in Return of the Living Dead Part 2 and Twin Peaks.
Nice. We stan Return of the Living Dead. I'm just saying. It's a good movie. By the way, you should check out what cult movie Cantina and their Return of the Living Dead.
Yes.
Final fatal fact about... No, it's not my final one. I still have some more, but this is my final one. As far as how tomatoes can kill you. The other time is going to be just like some historical and maybe a myth or 2. So botulism. So foodborne illness is botulism. It's sometimes a fatal paralytic illness caused by nerve toxins from bacterial spores. The deadly botulism spores on a plant material can start to produce deadly toxins in an oxygenless mixture, for example, in canned sauces and bottled preserves. And that is the last way I've got that they can kill you. Tomatoes are deadly.
They are deadly. Killer Tomatoes was also inspired by a killer mushroom movie. Did you know that?
Yeah, I knew that one. I did know that. There's like a mushroom.
1960s. The movie is called Mentango. It's Japanese. It's a twisted survival tale about 5 people who get shipwrecked on an island that's dotted with radioactive mushrooms. Eat one, our heroes learn, and you'll be transformed into a violent humanoid fungus. And that was the inspiration for Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
Nice. So here's one way tomatoes cannot kill you, even though it's a widely known myth. Everybody says that one of the ways that you can ingest arsenic is by eating tomato leaves, and that if you eat tomato leaves that you will die. They do contain toxic alkaloids, including tomatine and solanine, but actual tomato leaves cannot kill you. They're not toxic enough to poison you unless you consume them in very large quantities. So that would have an adult need to consume about 1 pound or 450 grams to become sick, right? So, I mean, you really would be chomping down on them tomato leaves. But everybody says that, you can get arsenic from them, but the truth of the matter is you get trace amounts of arsenic through all of the foods that you eat that are grown in soil. So you can't you can't actually die by eating tomato leaves unless you're allergic to tomatine and solanine.
Interesting.
Nice.
So, my next fact:
Mm-hmm.
James Stephen Peace almost died in the car chase scene.
Yeah, I did see that.
The article here reads that the helicopter sequence wasn't the only one in which things went dangerously awry. During the car chasing, where Peace of Flynn Letters gets his trusty parachute caught in the car door, and he gets drugged behind it for some time. He did his own stunts, and it says it fortunately left him at the mercy of some very poor planning. When they were towing Steve behind the car, they didn't have a mechanism for letting go.
Oh God.
Midway through a practice run, Peace crashed into a parked truck. So
Nice.
yeah, just great planning here.
So I have another fun fact about tomatoes, actual tomatoes. So in the, it was like 200 years ago. It's more than 200 years ago. Tomatoes were actually referred to as the poison apple because it was thought that aristocrats that got sick and died after eating them died because of the tomatoes. It turns out, though, that the reason why those people died was because the tomatoes were served on pewter plates, which are high in lead content. So, because tomatoes are so high in acidity, when placed on this particular tableware, the fruit would leach the lead from the plate, resulting in the deaths of lead poisoning. Because of this, they're actually they're classified as a deadly nightshade, which is plants that have like a good deal of solanine in them, and as I've said, so tomato leaves do have solanine. They're like tropane alkaloids or whatever. So yeah, yep, people were dying because tomatoes were served on pewter plates, and that gave them lead poisoning because of the acidity.
I
Nice.
have but one more fact.
Give it to us.
Maybe not. I might have lost it.
Oh God.
Backup one. This is not as juicy as juicy. Tomatoes are juicy. But most of the Army uniforms were purchased at Goodwill department stores. That is not the one I was going with, but I have lost that one, so we will use that as a backup.
Huh.
And that is all our fun facts, I believe.
Nice. And that's it for me. I don't have any more historical facts about fucking tomatoes.
Guys, go watch the movie. It's hilarious.
It's hilarious.
It is hilarious.
It's hilarious. So
that's what we got tonight.
yeah.
So we're gonna do. Remember, we're gonna do. I'll cut this part out before I give it to you. We're gonna do an Innsmouth close separately and put it into the middle of the show. So we're gonna do a generic JC close now.
Okay, let's go.
All right. So that's our show for tonight. Our great two-parter. Remember, if you're listening to this not understanding what's happening, I'll tell you again. The first half of the episode is on the Innsmouth Rag. You do have to go find it there. And, give us a like and follow. You can find us at Jester's Court Pod, and that's on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Thank you always, and we'll see you next time.
Peace out, bitches.